Hello. Hello, this is the My Artifact episode number 3320. Today's date is 28th of January 2025. It's been almost like a night at 10:35 p.m. Alright, we directly jump into the question. Let's go. Alright, yeah. Question is, what is the relationship between beauty and truth in nature? Oh, that is really good question. Okay, yeah. By the way, I purposefully asked this question to myself. Why? Okay, recently I'm actually watching this Leonardo, the Demons of Leonardo. Okay, yeah, it's a kind of like a something web series is actually about the Leonardo da Vinci. Okay, yeah. Who is the Leonardo da Vinci? He's you are pretty shameful that you don't really knew about that Leonardo da Vinci. It's a really amazing person, dude. Yeah, you just Google it, and if I just try to talk about this thing about who is this person, might be it's kind of like a something. He's really great guy, dude. It's just like the way that he knowledge that he has was like really incredible. Okay, yeah, I don't want to explain about him. Okay, yeah, you just have to Google it, and probably you knew it. Okay, like basically, if you are listening this thing, that means you knew who is this guy. Okay, yeah. So I'm actually literally inspired about the Leonardo da Vinci. Okay, yeah, and like basically I just decided that let's just try to think from uh, Leonardo's perspective. Okay, yeah, like how does he think, how does he thought process and everything. So what I do is that I went to the ChatGPT and I asked that suggest me 50 question to think like ask me 50 question so that I would think like Leonardo da Vinci. Okay, yeah. And basically ChatGPT is actually suggested some of the questions, and this is the one of those questions. The question is, what is the relation between the beauty and truth in nature? That is really good. Okay, yeah. So first of all, let's just understand couple of parameters regarding about these questions. Okay, yeah. What is beauty? Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah. As a human, we actually prefer like we actually see in beauty in person. Okay, like basically a good looking person, a good looking face. Okay, yeah. Usually we consider mostly, yeah, consider beauty is a good looking kind of like somebody personal, like there is actor, actress, or there is your girlfriend or whatever it is. Okay, yeah, you are actually found out that that person is a kind of like look really good, like she's really beautiful or something like that. Okay, yeah, but this is not just the only beauty thing. Okay, yeah, there are so many beautiful things are exist in the world. Okay, yeah, and you probably knew it but you don't really knew it. You probably knew it but you don't really thought about that. Okay, what is that? Okay, yeah. Okay, I'm give you kind of like a couple of example that you might gonna resonate. Okay, have you seen the baby elephant? Okay, yeah, it's pretty cute, right? Yeah, like why cute? It's a kind of like a something the it's a very cute kind of like a something. I don't know how do I supposed to express this thing. Okay, it's cute, it's a beauty. I don't know, it we felt really good. Okay, yeah, same goes with the birds. Okay, yeah, like a basically it's a thing. You could see any of those birds. Okay, like I'm not gonna like suggest you to kind of like a uh, think about eagle and things like that. No, like a very common bird like a sparrow. Okay, yeah, sparrow is also kind of like a something very beautiful. Like a think about that sparrow. Like it's a kind of like a something creativity of by nature. Well, like how beautiful is it? It's really good. Okay, yeah, like a baby goat. Yeah, baby goat, or the baby human. Okay, yeah. Usually, it's this thing that the adult human are kind of like a look little bit of matured and something like that. But any baby humans are look really beautiful at whatever the ethnicity that baby he has or whatever the. It's really beautiful. Okay, yeah. Okay, same goes with the rainbow. Okay, have you seen the rainbow? Okay, yeah, it's like it's a kind of like a something craft of nature, and you just felt like that, wow, what is a really amazing thing. Okay, yeah. Or like a snowflake. Have you know snowflake? Like, let me tell you one thing. Okay, I am belongs to the India, and in here, I haven't really seen a snow in my entire lifetime. Okay, and probably millions of the year I won't be able to see the snow in here in India. Nothing really at all. Okay, yeah. But I really wanted to see the snow. I really wanted to experience the snow and things like that. Okay, yeah. Because I don't know. I I I really wanted to see the snow, dude. It's like really amazing thing. I haven't really seen the snow. Okay, yeah. I just okay, just jump back. Okay, yeah. Snowflake. Okay, have you seen the snowflake? Okay, yeah. Probably I haven't really seen the snowflake because yeah, basically there is no like ice, so there is no kind of like a something. It's a very hot in here. Okay, 43 degrees Celsius. Okay, yeah. But okay, so basically is this thing, snowflakes are kind of like a something that you could see on the kind of like a something on your fridge or something like that. Okay, yeah. It's a very 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 tiny thing. Okay, yeah. um and probably it's a very tiny thing, like basically if you see this snowflake on the freezer now, like you won't be able to see that particular snowflake because it's a very very tiny thing, very tiny thing. Okay, yeah. But just kind of like a something, if you are living in kind of like Iceland or kind of like Greenland or somewhere, and still you have a lot of snow, but still you won't be able to see that snow because that snowflake is really tiny, so tiny, yeah. You could see that thing in really naked eyes, but you just have to be really close with this thing. Okay, really close. Okay, yeah. What I'm trying to tell you is this thing, that go to the Google, search about snowflake, click on the image. There are a bunch of images regarding about snowflake. Have you seen the structure of snowflake? It's a kind of like a something craft in nature, dude. Okay, there is no one who's actually kind of like a create the snowflake on the cloud. No, nothing really at all. It happened just automatically, and that's a beauty in nature, dude. Okay, yeah. So do you get it now? What is actually the beauty? Okay, yeah. And what is actually kind of like a something, how it's relate with the nature. Okay, truth of the nature. Okay, yeah. But let me tell you one thing, the example that I told you regarding about the stuff like a rainbow, the baby elephant, the baby goat, the baby human, then snowflakes and stuff like that, these are the beauty. Okay, yeah. I represent as a beauty. I didn't really talk about the truth. Okay, and what is the truth? Okay, yeah. So let's get the example as a rainbow. Okay, rainbow looks really beautiful. Okay, yeah. But have you tried to know why we see the rainbow, or why this kind of like some beautiful art piece is actually created? How is actually happened? Okay, is actually happened because of the kind of like a something, the water sprinkles. Okay, yeah. Water has a kind of like a something tendency, like okay, it's a very hard to understand this concept. Okay, yeah. As also I didn't really knew it very much properly as also. Okay, but I try to explain this thing as simple as possible as I can. Okay, yeah. And probably I didn't really have that much information, or I am not really that much correct regarding about this subject too, because I just listen, or I just kind of like a something just heard something regarding about stuff. Okay, I'm not really sure about the knowledge that I'm trying to tell you regarding about stuff. Okay, but somewhat it might be kind of like a something 90 to 80% true. Okay, yeah. Okay, so color. Okay, like have you seen the colors? Okay, there are so many colors. Vibgor color. Okay, like a basically Vibgor, like a rainbow has a kind of like a spectrum of 7 colors. Okay, yeah. uh, 7 colors are violet. It's a kind of like some Vibgor. Na, I just kind of like learned that in the school. Okay, it's a Vibgro. Okay, I forgot that. Okay, Vibgro color, Vibro color. Okay, yeah, let's just Google it now. Why I'm kind of like something. Okay, wait. Rainbow colors. Okay, yeah, Vibgro color. Okay, yeah. It contains the idea that there are the 7 color. Okay, a 7 color spectrum. Okay, red, orange, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. Okay, yeah. It's actually started from bottom. Okay, but actually it started from the top, na. So usually it was like a Vibgro. Okay, Vibro. Okay. Okay, there are some sort of seven colors. Okay, yeah, it's a kind of like a ROYGBIV. Okay, yeah. I was kind of like a considered as a Vibgro color. Okay, whatever. Okay, yeah. Vibgro, it's a kind of like a sort of initial form of the colors. Now, I just try to tell you regarding about stuff. Okay, yeah. So there are spectrums of color. Okay, you get it now. Okay, so there are the red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. Okay, what are those color? Okay, yeah, is kind of like a something the wavelength. Okay, I'm just going little bit of completely scientific over here. You just have to understand little bit. Okay, yeah, the things that we are actually kind of like seeing the world is a kind of like a something light spectrum. Okay, yeah, what's a spectrum? A spectrum means like that a kind of like a something the wavelength. Okay, yeah, it's a kind of like a something. What's a wavelength? Okay, yeah. um Still, okay, if I have a kind of like, it's a very hard to explain this thing in the audio format. Okay, yeah, if you knew it, you probably, if you don't really knew it, just go to the Google, search about the wavelength. You probably have a kind of like a something, the image of there is a particular line who is actually crossing. It's a kind of like a something graph, and there is a kind of like a something curve is actually happened. Okay, so it's kind of like a something the wavelength. Okay, yeah. So wavelength means like that complete the each thing. Okay, like when we went to positive, then we went down, and then it went to the kind of like a some neutral zone. The middle line is a neutral zone. Okay, yeah. The length is like a, this is kind of like a some wave. Okay, yeah, you get it now, like the wave that you are actually seeing on the sea or somewhere. That's kind of like a some wave, like it's like going up and down. Okay, yeah. Length is kind of like considered as a one when the wave is actually started from top, went bottom, and came at rest position. So that is called length. Okay, like basically the wave, it kind of like create the complete oscillation that requires some sort of length, that is called wavelength. Okay, yeah, do you get it now? Okay, yeah, so that is called wavelength. Okay, yeah, so these are the wavelengths. Okay, yeah, and in the world we are actually living, there are so many wavelength. Okay, yeah, these wavelength are actually different from length of the wave. Okay, like basically some of the wavelength are so big. Okay, some of the wavelength are so tiny, like so microscopic tiny, that you won't be able to see in your naked eyes. Okay, but these are exist. Example, infrared. Okay, like basically the remote in your in your TV remote handset. Now you have kind of like a somebody, you press the button and the channel change. Okay, yeah, this actually happened because the infrared signal. Okay, infrared signal are kind of like a somebody some sort of spectrum of the that we won't be able to see. Okay, our eyes won't be able to see, but these are exist in our that TV remote. Okay, yeah. So on X-rays. Okay, yeah, like basically, have you went to the kind of like a some X-ray, like there is kind of like some sort of rays are actually passed through, and they actually kind of like create a particular image regarding about our bones and structure. Okay, because like basically this thing, those are X-rays are actually stop at bones. Okay, so that's why they create the image, and rest of the kind of like organ, that rays pass through it. Okay, yeah, so you get it now. Okay, that is called kind of like a simply X-rays. Okay, it won't be able to see in our naked eyes, but these are exist. Okay, yeah, so there are so many rays. Okay, yeah, like gamma rays, beta rays, infrared rays, then the colors that we are actually seeing, red, blue, orange, something like that, these are the visible spectrum. Okay, that we are seeing the world. Okay, then there is a like another waves, which is kind of like a wavelength or super tiny or super like a neutron star rays or something like that. There are so many, I'm not going to the scientific stuff like that. Okay, yeah. What is the difference between those? Let's jump through that, like infrared rays and our light rays. Okay, so basically is this thing that I'm not really scientifically sure about that particular stuff, but what I'm trying to tell you is this thing that these are kind of like a, something the rays which are actually come from white color. Okay, yeah, which are actually came from white color. Okay, what is actually the white color? Okay, So basically the world that we are actually seeing, okay, red, blue color, all those colors, okay, these are actually kind of like a somebody wavelength or light spectrum. Okay, I'm not really sure about particular terminology regarding about that stuff. Okay, yeah, but whatever the world that we are actually seeing in this particular color, okay, yeah, but all those color are actually came from white color. Okay, it's a white color. Okay, yeah, like you actually have kind of like a little bit example, a little bit kind of like a something they experiment on your second or like a ninth or 10th standard maybe. Okay, yeah, I have that particular, that key all those color are actually came from white color. Okay, yeah, how is exactly white color? Okay, have you seen prism? Okay, yeah, like a prism is a kind of like a some perfect example. When you put the prism in front of the light, okay, yeah, so prism is actually scattered all the spectrums of the light. Okay, yeah, you knew it. It's not kind of like a something very hard to get, and if you don't really knew it, you just have to google it, just find out. Okay, so basically this thing, prism is a kind of like a something separate each the color of spectrum. Okay, red, blue, green, something like that. All right, yeah. So basically it's this thing that ki same thing happened with the rainbow stuff too. Okay, yeah, because uh prism is actually made by glass. Okay, yeah, like basically this is the glass structure is a kind of like a little bit of transparent and stuff like that. Same mechanism is actually happened on the water droplets too. Okay, because water droplets are also kind of like a little bit of transparent. Okay, which actually separate the color formation. Okay, like basically the color of light means like that the sky color or everything white color who is actually transfer through that water droplets, and it shows that particular color. Okay, that rainbow color. Okay, yeah, it's you get it. Okay, but now you have a kind of like a assembly example. Okay, yeah, is this thing that key that like a droplets are really essential to create the rainbow, right? Yeah, so why rainbow is actually look like in a curve? Okay, yeah, like why it's not actually look like straight or things like that. Okay, yeah, that's a really good question. Okay. I don't really knew it about why rainbow actually always be in curve. I'm not really sure if you knew that proper answer regarding about stuff. Just comment in this particular thing. I don't know. Yeah, might be who is actually listening this thing at this till this moment. But whatever. It's a really curiosity. I think that key it might be something that key scientific stuff like that. Oh yeah. But what I'm trying to tell you is this thing, the beauty of truth. Okay, yeah, the truth means like that ki when you know the particular thing from that beauty stuff like the rainbow, like you knew that why this rainbow is actually happened because of the water droplets and stuff like that. When you knew the entire mechanism of that particular beautiful thing, that 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 beauty became even more bright up, that even more something really grateful. Okay, yeah, if you still not resonate with this thing scientific stuff, okay, let me give you a little bit of example. Okay, yeah, have you watched um, Friends web series? Oh yeah, okay, Friend web series, it's a bit really common by the way. Okay, yeah, Friend is a kind of like a something web series, American TV show by the way, and it's really good, it's really great. Okay, I suggest you to watch that particular thing. Okay, so basically this thing, this show is very popular, and by the way everyone is actually watch that particular show. Okay, so when we watch that particular show we laugh during that particular scene and stuff like that. Okay, yeah, but we don't really knew the behind the scene and stuff like that. Okay, when we watch that particular behind the scene we laugh even more, we laugh even more. Okay, yeah, because like basically it's this thing, when we watch the TV show it's a kind of like a something the entire scripted thing. Okay, yeah, we also laugh at that scripted thing, but we actually laugh even more when is actually happen unscripted, or when someone actor is actually messed up or things like that. Okay, yeah, you get it now. Okay, so this is what kind of like a something relate with the beauty too. Okay, yeah, so in this particular Friend particular web show which is kind of represent to the laughter. Okay, yeah, in the scripted format you actually laugh little good, but when you know behind the scene is actually happened you laugh even more better. Okay, then entire scene became even more laugh, like you became something really like laugh, feel really good. You just feel something that you laugh really great. Okay, like you just know that there is a fucked up thing happened, the actor messed up and things like that, so you laugh even more. Okay, yeah. Same thing resonate with the beauty and truth. Okay, yeah. Because like in the rainbow things like that, it's a really beautiful. Okay, from the visual point of perspective, it's really beautiful. But when you know the entire mechanism that how this rainbow thing is actually happened, you feel even more beautiful. You kind of like a something awe inspired by this particular thing, or kind of like a, you just knew that thing, wow, what a really amazing thing that I just realized that what exactly is this thing. It's a kind of like a something is this thing na ki rainbow is represent beautiness. When you know about that particular mechanism of that rainbow, then you feel even more beautiness for that rainbow. You feel, yeah, you feel really like, I don't know how do I supposed to explain this thing, but you get it my point na. Okay, yeah, I just kind of like a try to resonate with this example with the Friend web series. Okay, yeah, like when you watch the behind the scene, you feel really kind of like a something really more enjoyable, really more enjoy that particular stuff when you watch the behind the scene. Okay, same thing happened with the rainbow too. Okay, yeah, when you see the kind of like a something like the mechanism of that particular stuff, particular that rainbow stuff, you kind of like a try to like even more better. Okay, yeah, so that is called kind of like a some truth. Okay, yeah, like when the beauty is actually happened, the visual point of perspective, that beauty was really good. But when you know the truth about that beauty, it felt really good. Okay, yeah. Also let me tell you one thing. Okay, yeah, truth is actually happen in the nature. Okay, yeah. um it's actually happened in the nature. It's a when you know the truth about that particular stuff, it just felt really good. How do I supposed to explain this? Is a kind of, it's not really complicated topic, no, nothing really at all. Is a kind of like a something, is a everyday thing. Okay, yeah, it's a everyday thing. We actually experience this thing in everyday, but we don't really talk about that stuff because it's a very different thing. Like no one would kind of like ask such a question that do you kind of like connect the relation between the beauty and then where the fuck was that? Where is the fuck is my document? Okay, yeah. Okay, is it recording now? Yeah, it's recording. Sorry. It's like this kind of like a only question na, is a kind of like a something very really thought process. Like I just wanted to think about that from Da Vinci's point of perspective. So I just asked this question to myself that kid, do I able to think like a Da Vinci's point of perspective? Okay, Leonardo da Vinci's point of perspective. Okay, yeah. So do you get it now? What is actually the truth? Okay, beauty and truth. Okay, beauty means like that beauty that we actually seen in the real life, and when you know the truth about that beauty, it felt even more. Okay, but they actually talk about in the nature. Okay, like basically beauty in nature. Okay, like as also snowflakes. Okay, have you know how this actually snowflakes is actually happened? Okay, I still not really sure about that particular stuff, but basically this thing, snowflake is actually happened because of the surface station of the water and air and stuff like that. So that's why it's actually created that particular crystal like structure. Okay, it's actually happened in the nature. I'm not really sure about how the snowflakes, that particular kind of like some art piece, is actually created by nature, how it's actually happened, I'm not really sure. But I think it's a kind of like a only surface tension regarding about the air and liquid. Okay, that's why it's kind of like a something is happened. What exactly is this thing? Okay, yeah. I still knew regarding about the snowflake, but I try to talk about that stuff. Okay, basically is this thing ki it's a kind of like a only basic sign that we know. Okay, yeah, that ki liquid convert into solid. How is actually happened is actually happened because of the condensation process. Okay, yeah, condensation or cooling process. Okay, like basically there is a glass of water. Okay, yeah, you put in the freezer. After a couple of hours, that glass of water became solid rock of ice. Okay, yeah, because of kind of like a very cooling thing happened. Okay, yeah, but how exactly happened? How is this thing happen? Okay, yeah. Like basically, if if something like if we have kind of like some freezer of earth, and if you put the kind of like some the entire water of the earth in the freezer, does it kind of like a convert into the solid? Yeah, it will be. Okay, yes, it will be. Okay, but still, I don't really understand the kind of like some the what is actually happen in the molecular point of perspective. Okay, yeah. In molecular point of perspective, solid in the solid, the molecules means like that the distance between atom one atom to another atom are kind of like something far too much close in the solid. Okay, yeah. So that's why a solid feel really rigid. Okay, like right now I have this cell phone in front, like I'm actually recording this thing in cell phone. So this is kind of like something very rigid body. Okay, yeah. Why do I feel very rigid body? Because it's a solid. Okay, why it's kind of like something really solid? Because the atom is actually kind of like something so close to the each other. That's why it's kind of like something very so solid. I can't penetrate my hand into this solid thing because it's a solid thing. Okay, yeah. In the liquid, I kind of like simply penetrate my hand into the liquid. Why? Because the distance between the atom is a far more little bit bigger. Okay, yeah. So that's why we could kind of like a somethingly put my hand into the water and stuff like that. Okay, yeah. Because like basically the distance between the molecules, one molecule to another molecule, is a kind of like a far little bit different. Okay, yeah. In the gases is even more. Okay, yeah. Because in the gases is a kind of like a something we could not only just transfer from, it's a kind of like a some distance from one place to another place. So that's why the molecule between the one atom to another atom is a far more difference, far more distance. So that's why we could kind of like a something is this thing that we could like we won't be able to see the gases because it's a kind of like a something far too away from each other. So that's why it just kind of like something disappear. Okay, but it's not actually disappear, it's actually exists, but it's little bit disappear in our naked eyes. Okay, so it's a kind of like something like basic science thing that we already knew at the fifth standard science classes. Okay, do you get it now? Okay, yeah. Now let's talk about that condensation process, the cooling process. Okay, I'm just trying to focus on that cooling process. Okay, yeah. In scientifically, okay, yeah. Um, water, like sorry, water cannot convert into the solid. Okay, without any impurity. What is exactly the impurity? Okay, yeah. So if I say like basically, if I have complete pure water, H2O. Okay, yeah. Pure water. Okay, what's a pure water? A pure water means like that, exactly the pure water means like it doesn't really have any impurity at all. Nothing really at all. Means like it's a kind of like a something the water which is one hydrogen atom, two oxygen atom. Okay, there is nothing really at all. And this kind of like something liquid, this kind of like something water, if I wanted to freeze, it won't freeze. Why? Because it doesn't really have any kind of like a impurity. What's the impurity? Impurity is a kind of like a something very essential substance to require to convert the medium from air to water or water to solid, sorry, liquid to solid, something like that. It's a very essential, it's a kind of like something medium it really required to convert that particular state, convert that particular medium. Okay, yeah. I'm not really sure how this impurity thing is actually happened and how this impurity is really essential to convert the state, but it's actually available. Okay, yeah. And that's how it's kind of like some this snowflake has actually happened. Okay, yeah. Because basically is this thing na ki snowflakes is actually happened because of kind of like a something is this thing that ki impurities are actually available at the kind of like a something our atmosphere. Okay, if you went to the vacuum and things like that, you won't be actually kind of like a something convert H2O into the ice. Why? Because it really required some sort of impurity. Okay, yeah. In our air we have a lot of impurity like nitrogen, oxygen and everything. So it became kind of like a something liquid to solid very easily. But if you went to do this thing, same experiment on the international space station or vacuum, then it's kind of like something very hard to do it, because it really required kind of like some certain impurity, some certain another gases. That's why this kind of like something the process will gonna happen. Okay, yeah. And I think this might be a kind of like some reason to create that particular snowflake. Okay, yeah. But I still not understand why this kind of like some shape was actually created by the nature, because the shape of the snowflake is kind of like something really amazing that I don't know how it actually created. Okay, I know about little bit about the surface tension regarding about the impurity and the liquid and then stuff like like if you know the particular thing, you just try to google it, you have a lot of example regarding about that stuff. I'm not really sure about that, I just know little bit regarding about that particular stuff. But question was that this is kind of like some the truth. When you know the truth, you kind of like somebody enhance the beauty of that particular snowflakes. Okay, yeah. Same thing happened with the friends example. Okay, if you listen, if you tried, if you knew that particular behind the scene of that particular movie, then you kind of like a resonate even more with that particular movie. You just try to feel the gravity of that particular scene. Okay, yeah. If you still not understand anything, okay, yeah, I also kind of like a try to give you another example. Okay, yeah, so that you could understand even more better. All right, yeah. um have you watched the movie name Avatar? Okay, yeah, Avatar. Avatar is a kind of like a something movie which is actually directed by the James Cameron. Okay, yeah, which is kind of like something very very high quality of visual graphics, very high. Okay, yeah, it's a really incredible thing. Okay, yeah. So basically, is this thing ki these visual graphics are like when we watch the movie, uh, we don't really understand the gravity of that visual graphics, like how much difficult to create that particular graphics and stuff like that, because we don't really create that graphics. Okay, like when we watch the movie, we just watch the movie. We don't really watch the particular how this VFX artist how much put the effort to create that stuff like that. We don't really knew it. Okay, yeah, we don't really understand that much gravity. Okay, yeah. So we just kind of like a something just watch the movie, but the VFX artist put lot of effort in one frame to create that particular sequence and stuff like that. Like basically they put like a month like hours of kind of like a put the effort to create that particular image as good as possible as it can. Then this movie was kind of like a look really good, really great. Okay, yeah. Do you get it this example or not? Okay. Okay, still if you don't really get it the example, I'm gonna give you kind of like a, some another example that you gonna resonate with this stuff. Okay, yeah. It's also kind of like a, some resonate with this question too. Okay, yeah. So example, okay, so you are kind of like a something, it's a weekend. Okay, yeah, you have off day. Okay, yeah, you love drawing. Okay, yeah, you love your drawing, and suddenly today is a Sunday and you decided to draw. Okay, after like a, basically after like a 2 3 year, you kind of like a take the brush and started doing drawing. Okay, yeah. Like after 2 3 year, and you draw kind of like a particular stuff really good. Okay, after you 2 3 year, you might have little bit less really good drawing, but somehow it's little bit good. Okay, like basically this thing, it's really good, it's really great. Okay, yeah. And then suddenly what is actually happened that ki your son or there is a small child who is actually playing at your home, and suddenly who throw the paint at the kind of like a at the painting at the things that you draw. And basically is this thing, entire drawing is actually ruined by this paint. Okay, yeah. And basically is this thing, you are really heartbroken because of that. You haven't really paint a lot. Okay, yeah, for almost like a 2 3 year. And basically couple of hour ago I started doing paint, and I'm doing this painting, I'm doing this drawing and stuff like that. And after I complete my entire drawing, suddenly there is a one of the child at home who is actually put the paint at my drawing and basically just destroy the entire painting and stuff like that. You felt really bad, really really bad, because of that key. You put lot of effort to draw that paint. Okay, and when you draw that entire paint, and when it get complete and suddenly it's actually ruined by the particular thing, you understand the gravity of the paint, you understand the gravity of that drawing that you took. But suddenly just it just kind of like a sort of destroy. What I'm trying to tell you regarding about this question, regarding about this example, is this thing that ki, uh, when we see some sort of stuff, like when we see a kind of like a particular drawing, we don't really understand the gravity of how much artists put the effort to do that drawing. Okay, yeah. But when we are kind of like a somebody artist, or when we draw that particular painting, we understand the gravity of that particular drawing, like how much it took hours to do that paint, to do that drawing and stuff like that. We understand the gravity, we understand, like we put effort into that creating that particular craft na. So that's why we just try to understand how much it effort really required to create that particular craft. Okay, we understand the gravity of it. Okay, and when we understand that gravity of it, we just have kind of like a really even more values. Okay, right now I'm gonna give you another example. Okay, yeah. So you draw particular painting. Okay, yeah, and you are actually showing that painting to the people. Okay, and you are actually kind of like a telling that ki, rate that particular painting regarding about 10 out of 2, 3, 4, 5 to 10. Okay, yeah, what exactly? So the people say 10 out of 7, 10 out of 8, 10 out of maybe 4, or 10 out of 2, whatever it is. Okay, it's kind of like a people perspective. Okay, let's take one people perspective, that one people actually gave 10 out of 7 mark. Okay, yeah, you draw that painting. Okay, you put a lot of effort in this thing. So you put a lot of effort, that means you put a lot of effort. So basically, how would you kind of like rate your painting? You would rate your painting at 10 out of 9 or 10 out of 10. Why? Because you put entire effort to make that painting. Okay, yeah, you don't really did kind of like a somebody just casually I draw this thing. No, nothing like at all. You put lot of effort to create that particular painting. You put 100 out of 100 of your craft to create that painting. So probably the value of that painting from your point of perspective is bit higher than the other people point of perspective. Okay, so so basically this actually kind of like something resonate with this thing. Okay, yeah, resonate with this example, because the beauty is a kind of like a some perception of the visual thing, that everyone likes it. Okay, like the rainbow is everyone likes it. Okay, some people say 10 out of 7, 10 out of 8 rainbow. But when you knew the gravity of that rainbow, you feel even more better, you feel something really much better, and you try to give that rainbow as a 10 out of 10 or 10 out of 9, is it? Okay, yeah, this is what kind of like something is this thing. When you understand the gravity of the particular thing is actually happened, and which is actually really beautiful, it's it became something really great. It's became something you actually feel something really great. So that is the relation between the beauty and the truth. Okay, when you knew the truth, you kind of like somebody enhance the gravity of that beautiness, and you feel really good, you feel something that ki, oh, okay, yeah. It's been kind of like somebody talking about that particular stuff. Like I don't know, I just try to think about from Leonardo's point of perspective, and I might started thinking like that, but I'm not really sure. Okay, yeah, because my examples are bit something, um I don't know, like did I kind of like simply resonate with this thing or not? Okay, I don't know, yaar. Okay, I just try to think from his point of perspective, as a Leonardo's point of perspective, to regarding about how the kind of like assembly beauty and the truth looks like in the nature and stuff like that, and what is that the nature, and what is that the relation between it. This is maybe a my point of perspective. Might be your point of perspective. Might be kind of like something really very different. I don't know, dude. Okay, yeah. If you like it, just like a basically like if you just have little bit of understand about this concept or stuff like that, just try to do little bit of remark or emoji, something like that. Like I'm not kind of like a mention to do comment and stuff like that, but still, like I don't know if you resonate with this thing with my example. I just wants to know your opinion, because I think I try to explain as much as I can, but I just want to know that you resonate with my example, or you resonate with my thought process or not. I just wants to know that from your point of perspective. All right. Yeah. By the way, I should supposed to be end here. All right. This is it. This then. And thank you.